Motoring Middle East in the house. We're talking about the bucket of bolts you're driving, or the thing that you would love to be driving, and there's lots of cool stuff coming out on the roads. But also, we've got another guest joining us, and Saygin's in studio,
Hi.
CEO of SellAnyCar.com. And you've probably seen the banners on Sheikh Zayed Road, just about Mall of the Emirates, isn't it? If you're going by that flyover.
It's right at the Palm exit.
There we go. Then 30 minutes, you can sell any car and get through the hassle. Was on the website checking it out, because we frequently get questions here on the show asking about that. And we used to talk about prices of cars, and you guys have kind of got it worked out. How does the whole process work? Walk us through it.
So what you do is you go to SellAnyCar.com.
Yep.
How the name says is you can sell any car in 30 minutes actually. So what you do is you go to the website, get an instant valuation for your car by just answering 6 basic questions about the car.
Like year, mileage.
Yeah, exactly, like make, model, year, mileage, body type, kilometers. Actually what happens is then our database will give you an approximate value for your car. You book an appointment in one of our nationwide branches. Actually, we're now international in 3 countries. And when you come for a free car inspection, within 25 minutes, we would have conducted a final inspection for your car. The last 5 minutes will be the offer process. So all in all, within 30 minutes, we will guarantee to buy any car and pay you instantly, either cash or through bank transfer.
Nice.
Yeah. And even if the car is financed, damaged, we take care of everything.
Is there a limit on the age of the car or the mileage?
No, that would really defeat the purpose of the name. So, and
well, I don't know.
Sell any car.
So if I bring you a 20-year-old thing with 500,000 kilometers, say I bring you an old taxi, would you buy that?
He's gonna
100%.
He's gonna peel off a 5 dirham note and say, "Here you go."
It happens sometimes.
It's worth more than 5 dirham. So what?
7 dirhams.
Well, yeah.
Some cars are more of a liability than actually a value, but we still would buy it. We could take care of all the process, so the headache.
And what do you do with all these cars?
We actually don't sell them back to the public. So we have distribution channels. Usually, like 100% of them are businesses. Okay. So it will be traders, wholesalers, either locally or even internationally.
So you're selling them back into the trade?
We do. We do, but in bulk. We have auctions. We have the bulk deals through traders and wholesalers usually.
So how are you making money? Because if you're buying cars from a punter that's selling it,
yes,
and then you're selling it back to trade, and the trade obviously they want it as cheap as possible because they're going to
sell it. How much he's buying them for? Didn't say how much he's buying them for.
No, it's let me explain it. So what happens is when we actually buy cars from consumers, we become the voice of the consumers, but in a much stronger way. So when we go to the trade, we tell them, look, the cars has been already inspected. I solve your sourcing problem in volumes, and I have actually provided a marketing service for you, because if you wait in your $1 million showroom for walk-ins, you can maybe get 10 a day, and then you're really good. We get over 600 appointment requests a day. So
that's a phenomenal number.
That is a phenomenal number. So if you look at it from an industry's point of view, we become the #1 sourcing channel for them. What it means is they better cut their margin for us. So we justify our margin by cutting the industry's margin and sharing it rather than cutting it from the consumers.
So how many cars are you sort of buying in the space of a month?
A lot. It actually
how many sort of?
So it will. The point is
like over 100.
For sure, for sure. I mean, you can imagine if we have so many requests going on a daily basis.
So where are you based? Where are you doing these inspections? Where are you storing 100 cars?
So we are based in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in Sharjah, in Saudi Arabia, and over 10 locations, even in Turkey, in Istanbul, and Ankara. So we have expanded geographically and continue to do that. In terms of storage, we have warehouses where we store it, but we sell cars extremely fast. With predefined agreements, we know which distribution channels to go with. So we rather just intermediarily store cars and actually just wait until they get picked up.
Okay, and one more question for me. In the valuation process,
yes.
you say you're doing the valuation yourself, so you're not using a service, you're actually evaluating cars yourself.
That is correct.
Is that based on the market rates for private sale or trade-in sales?
That is the price we will give you, more or less.
Yeah.
So it's basically what you can expect, and that's our #1 task.
But what I mean is that where does it come in? So, for example, as a private seller, is it the price I would expect to get as a private seller, or is it the trade-in price for the dealer, or where is it sort of coming into that?
So what we see is if you look at it from a consumer's point of view, you would more or less be around 10 to 15% below the wish list price, as we call it. So probably
private sale price, below the private sale price.
But pre-negotiation.
Right.
So usually when you go to classifieds, you will see a price which is kind of pre-negotiation and more like a wish list, while we already cut the BS and say this is what you're going to get.
Okay.
More or less.
So is there much room for negotiation, or is there one price, one that's it, take it or leave it, when you offer value a car?
So we believe the price we give you should be and is the no haggle price.
Okay, so it's a no haggle price.
It definitely is.
And so if I'm coming to SellAnyCar.com and I go and get it inspected, and you throw the no haggle price down in front of me, obviously I can walk away.
You can. It's 100% free. And more importantly, what we don't want is we don't want to further waste your time.
Right.
So the whole reason why this business is so successful is because we have cut the time wasting part of selling used cars. So at the end of the day, if you really want to sell your car during your lunch break, you can. And we will tell you this is more or less what you will get on our website already. And this is one of our real challenges and opportunities to be as close as possible online. And when you actually see that price, all you have to do is show up or even send a driver and sell your car. And we are now certified in all the Emirates, and actually RTA has verified us that they actually can sell their car in our offices. So you don't have to even go to the RTA.
So you handle all the paperwork and everything?
With one signature, you can transfer your title of the cars in our offices.
What about cars with finance owed on them?
If there's a finance on it, the bank has a right on it. So what we need to obviously do is to clear the loan, right? So what we do is we send the driver with you and actually pay off your loan.
Right.
And once the car is cleared, and there's different procedures for each bank. Some banks have instant releases. Other banks need a few working days. But as soon as the car is released, it's done. Because you have already signed the purchase agreement, which is pre-verified by RTA. Having said that, you don't have to even worry about the rest of the process. We will take care of that.
Interesting.
So this is an ideal scenario for people that need to sell their car in a hurry, or
so the
are
person
moving
who's
away.
leaving country.
Yeah, exactly. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's a good question we should point to our colleague, because if a person brought a car into you and had a noise or some sort of mechanical defect, what happens? What's the process?
Well, it will show up in our inspection report. Accordingly, the price will be adjusted or not. It depends on what we have already seen in the online valuation process. So at the end of the day, it's a very important topic, especially cars which have passed the 4-year thing which we have in dealerships. It usually is really an unwanted product, especially with the official dealerships. So it becomes even harder to sell. And think about KSA, for example, has a limit of 4-year-old cars in terms of importing. A lot of countries actually in the GCC have. So what happens is you can't even export them anymore. So it becomes really that point of time where the car loses a bit more than it usually uses per year. So at the end of the day, we actually solve these problems as well, because we have found partners, and we have volumes where we can justify and mix and match cars and sell them, even those.
Did you say you can't export them?
You can't export them to the let's say KSA, for example. No.
Oh, but you can send them out of KSA.
Exactly, you can send them, for example.
So the network that you're sending the cars into may then ship it into other markets.
Exactly. So we have agreements with thousands of dealers and traders and wholesalers and all kinds of businesses, auction houses, and so on. So we always find the right and best distribution channel, and we have the clout to justify good prices.
Motor Middle East is in the house. SellAnyCar.com is in the house. I guess one of the cool things, or one of the niches of the market that really works with SellAnyCar.com is those people, again, who need to make a fast sale. And if they want to get rid of their car, they want to move on, it can take a lot of time to put it up on Dubizzle or some other sites. Then you've got the tire kickers that Imtishan has talked about at nauseam. Then the haggling. You might be able to get more for your car if you're willing to go through the whole process, but you guys make it very easy.
Believe it or not, we actually believe that we will give you the best price any business could pay you, right? And we believe that. We can't guarantee it because it's prone to fraud, but at the end of the day, we're very confident that the car price we've given you is fair. More importantly, we actually give you a free rental car when you sell your car. So we know of the process when you sell your car, and then ask you, how do I get to work on Sunday? We say, we'll take care of it, up to a whole month, depending on your car value. We have a chauffeur drive home.
Hold on a second. So you're helping me out by taking my car off my hands.
Yes.
You're giving me a rental for up to a month?
Yes.
On what basis?
basically what we've seen is
they're nice people.
We used to I could justify it. I could justify.
No, I want more than that. No, that's not that won't cut it.
So what happens is, first of all, we've seen that we lost certain deals because especially certain kind of people said, well, I need a car. And we said, okay, let's solve this issue. So we went out there with our business development department and said, how do we make it work? So we found one of the largest rental car companies to partner up with. We said, we're going to give you a volume you never had before, probably. And we're going to probably give the customers, or the sellers in these cases, a car which is enough to drive. It's not going to be a luxury car.
No.
So the likelihood of them extending the period or upgrading is relatively large. So you actually have potential to make full margin on these upgrades or extensions. You have the choice to get a new lead.
So is this offered to everybody that sells a car, or is it to a certain price band?
I think the threshold is around 5,000 dirhams worth of car you have to sell to us. You will already get a 1 week free rental car.
So if I bring a car to you worth about 8,000 dirhams,
you get a week free rental car. And if you bring a 100,000 or 60,000 dirham car, you might get up to a whole month.
It's extraordinary.
That can work. There are interesting things out there. SellAnyCar.com in the house.
I'm just thinking, when did you start this company?
It was around 15 months ago.
15 months ago. See, if you were around in 2008, 2009, you would have made an absolute killing at that time.
I was busy with time machines. They can't go back and do it, but yeah.
Let's head to the phone lines. I think we got Abdullah joining us. Good evening. Welcome to Nightline.
Hi, good evening, James. Good evening, gentlemen, as well.
Good evening.
Hello.
So you had a question.
I did.
So shoot it.
And the question is that, so my brother got a X5M 2010, 100,000 kilometers on the clock, and the car is out of warranty. Now, my question is, we would like to sell it, get an LS instead of that. What price range am I looking at?
So you want to get rid of the X5M and you want to get an LS?
Not an LS, actually an LX 570.
Oh, an LX. Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of price range? We're all looking at each other going, I don't know.
Well, we don't really do valuations, but we have a man here who does.
He would be of an asset.
How much are you going to offer this bloke?
I'm not a human database. Should be this much.
Well, you can sort him out, can't you?
We definitely can. Just show up.
Yeah.
Just sell any.
So how does he go about doing this then?
So he just goes to the website.
Uh-huh.
What's your name again?
Abdullah.
Just go to SellAnyCar.com. You'll get an approximate valuation. Show up to one of our locations. We'll give you the cash and you go buy any car you want, anywhere you want. I think that's the easiest process.
Yeah. SellAnyCar.com. It's a pretty easy process once you put in the basic details. It sends you an email, doesn't it, with the basic?
It actually shows you right away on the site, and then you get an email.
It gives you a ballpark anyway.
It takes like 15-20 seconds. You'll get a ballpark figure, definitely.
Yeah. See what you think.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks for that, man.
No problem. We'll talk to you later, man. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to the program.
Hi.
How would you like to get involved in Car Talk?
I want to ask a question about how to get into the car industry. I'm looking to start a car company, so I want to see how to start off and how Saygin got started off.
So you want to become a car sales franchise yourself?
Yeah, to get into the car industry.
All right. Saygin, how did you get started in a nutshell?
Just a quick question. So you want to become an entrepreneur, or you want to join a team?
Yeah.
Once become an entrepreneur.
I love cars, so I want to get involved, and I want to know how to start off, like selling cars and buying cars.
So you got 50 words to help her out.
All right, here you go. So I'm teaching entrepreneurship at a Canadian university. So
there
what I
go.
do is, if you want to become an entrepreneur, go to that course first with me, and you will see it's a headache. But if you want to do it and not join us, because we're really looking for people, then I would recommend actually really talk to people in the industry, find out what's the makes or breaks of the industry, especially the business you're looking into. And at the end of the day, think about what you really want to do, because there's so many different areas within the automotive trade that I would suggest you find your USP, find what you can really do best, and then talk to potential customers. talk to potential suppliers. At the end of the day, you'll figure out where you really are good in. And then if you become more specific, I think I can help you more.
So you got to go to the Canadian University of Dubai and hook up on this entrepreneurship course and have a chat with them. Have them help you draw it out.
Oh, right. And how do you communicate with your customers? Like, how do you know what people want?
So what I have done, I can give you an example. Before I started SellAnyCar.com, I wasn't really an expert in cars. I'm not really, I still not am an expert. But what I did is I talked to 50 experts in the industry, general managers. I approached them through social networks. I said, what do you think would happen if I would do this business? Would you believe in it? And what do you think would make me successful? And would you join me? And at the end of the day, I got so much feedback, so many numbers, and I actually could get a very good insights into the industry. On the other hand, I asked potential sellers and consumers, I said, would this solve your problem, my product? Would, like, selling your car within 30 minutes, any car in any of our locations, is that something you would really use? And I got a good feeling from those interviews as well. At the end of the day, I actually modified my business idea a bit more and could validate it right away.
Unfortunately, we don't have the capacity to keep talking down this line, but I do recommend that you go and listen to the Shane Phillips podcast, because you did have a great conversation with Shane about this,
right.
And go and check out Saygin over at the Canadian University and have that further conversation, or take it offline, because the only reason I'm ushering you out, and I'm really sorry to have to do that, is because we got a half dozen texts in asking car questions, so we want to drive over into that area. But thank you very much for the call, and thanks for asking the questions, and I hope that helped to enlighten you a little bit. Saygin Shejul's come through, and he's got a question that it's an interesting question. We talked about it a little bit off air.
Yeah.
So he said he's just tuned in. He says he's got a quick question. A friend of his was selling his car a couple of months back, and he went to SellAnyCar.com's online quote system, which is the first place we go. And he said that the quote that he got from the online service was almost 10,000 dirhams less than what Automall or the Nissan Pre-Certified service was offering. And you had a reason to account for that.
Yes, that's a very important point. Actually, we just addressed that last week. Some of our online valuations are a bit off. You can imagine there's no such thing as an exhaustive database you can just connect to in the Middle East. So we have to build it. And we have done tens of thousands of inspections, and every single inspection actually makes our database even better. But some of the cars actually are still not very accurate. So what we've done is we've added a link, and it says, if you think this valuation is inaccurate, please tell us and fill in your value you believe is correct. So the online valuation is by no means the final value. So if you come to us, and especially 20% of our sellers, they get a higher price when they actually show up to an inspection, because we see the actual trim, we see the actual extras in the car, and we can appreciate those. So I wouldn't recommend just being demotivated by the online valuation right away. I would always come for a free car inspection. What are you going to lose? It's free cars inspection. You will get an offer which you can accept or reject on the spot.
There you go. So it can all work. So go and check out the prices of the vehicles. Go and actually have the.
And what we are now currently working on is just very important. Some of our cars will be with a batch online which will say guaranteed valuation.
Nice.
If you see those, that means you will guarantee get those prices, with a few assumptions we mentioned in the disclaimer.
Very interesting. Gentlemen, we're out of time.
I know.
Saygin, absolutely.
There's more questions coming in.
I know. Fantastic to have you in studio. SellAnyCar.com.
Nice. Thanks for having me.
You've got fans. They want to know how you got into the business. So hopefully we drum up some support for over at the Canadian University of Dubai as well. And
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate you coming in.